It's Boxing Day in the Phantom's Lair. Welcome to the first episode of the 2025 season, the first official Lair for another big year. This is the Phantom speaking. We've had Christmas Day in SuperCoach. The team picker is open. We've been out there picking our team. We're in here in the Lair to discuss those early teams and how they're looking and how my friends here have enjoyed their Christmas Day on Team Picker. We've got a big guest back in the studio for the first time. I've spoken to the other man here a few times already over summer, but this one, the fan favourite, the rookie of the year last year, cash cow of the Phantom's Lair, about to back up his second year, Bear Notorious.
Thanks, Vance. G'day, Dossie. Great to be back. Yeah, fiddling around with the team picker on Christmas Day. Got the itch over summer, and very excited to chat nonsense with my two favourites all summer long.
Christmas Day, of course, was December 18 here in SuperCoach land when the team picker did open for SuperCoach Plus subscribers. If you haven't already, get on there and start picking your team now. Dossie,
yes,
at HK Dos has been doing so. Told me he was already won the 50K, but we've seen the team, Bear, and he's gone back on his word already.
Back on his word. Actually, just mentioned the handle HK Dos. What are you running with as your name at the moment?
Yeah, it's Dossie. What do you
Dossie?
mean?
Okay.
Junior, Haydn, Dossie?
Oh, the Phantom Junior tag, yes. No, it did get changed in the off-season, actually, Vance. The
fall from grace.
You can't finish 9,000
No.
Align yourself with me.
So Phantom Junior, yeah, he's shedding the tag, going out on the own.
It won't come back
2025? We'll see how I go.
Okay.
See how we go.
Halfway point.
First official Lair on the Code Sports YouTube channel. DOS, if you are listening, get on there and have a look at the new studio. What do you reckon, Bear? The new Lair, the Bear Lair.
It's fantastic. Good to have some funding. Anything missing, Vance?
Well, there is one thing missing. You did raise it. You know, you're a man of the people. You're a good friend. You are, Bear.
Mm-hmm.
It's missing a birthday cake. Our man.
Dossie. A humble king. We walked into the office, or I walked into the office the other day knowing it was his birthday, and you could see him go red straight away as soon as I wished him happy birthday. Noticed he hadn't told any of the sports boys. Humble king.
Very humble. You know, just another day on the calendar for old Dossie here, mate.
He even bought me a coffee on his birthday.
Oh,
he didn't tell me. Well, he shared the round as well.
Well,
on his
SuperCoach
birthday.
knew they brought the game out. They could have probably done it the day before for old Dossie, but look, they brought it out on the Boxing Day of Dossie's birthday as well. So
No, happy birthday, Dos. Happy birthday. 25.
Team picker.
25 never looks so good.
Team picker. Let's get into it.
let's do it. You're building your team today, fans. Excited to see how you go here. So if you are watching along on the YouTube, we've got your team on the screen and you're going to be building away as we go at Code Sports, of course, for the YouTube channel for SuperCoach. You've done a little bit of you've got your sort of skeleton team ready so that we can sort of start, scratch from the fans. Now, who have you got for us to start the team?
Now, obviously, very, very early in the SuperCoach preseason, plenty can change, but there are some early, who look like locks, some great value and some rookies that we've discussed over the past month already that need to be in your first side. So the basic names, the base I've started with before I will reveal more is Sam Flanders at D1, 641K. Marcus Bontempelli at M1, 681K. Zach Butters joining him there at M2. And of course, our man in the Lair, Sid Draper, who fresh. If you haven't seen it, get across the SuperCoach social channels at Bear Notorious too, had a piece of it. Our man Sid Draper just running the rings around the rest of the Crow squad at the final hit out before Christmas, absolutely towering in the repeat sprint, so he's ready. Jagger Smith, another we've talked about, a must-have at this point in the cheapie stakes. Gorn and Cherry, the big two in the ruck, are locked in there. Horny one. Our other man, Jason Horn-Francis, F1. Jack McRae, F2 at the moment. But that's the few players there, the 7 names that I'm going to build around today. Any surprises so far?
Well, you've gone to set and forget in the ruck department. That's already a lot of coin to be spent. So I'm interested to see where you're going elsewhere across the field. You've also got the Bont and Butters there. So you've got basically 3 or 4 guys there that are close to that 120 mark. So plus Flanders, 5. So you've got basically all the big dogs here. So clearly the fancy is going the guns and rookies for season 2025, and that's also not going to leave a stack of money for the new flex position. So interested to see where we're going from here. Bear, your first thoughts.
I don't mind it though. I think
Big dogs only.
Big dogs only, guns and rookies. Just looking through the rookies, all of the names are exciting. You did mention Sid Draper. We're all in. He might be the podcast pet, Sid Draper.
Billy Dowling of
Yeah. I don't mind that.
2025.
Like the entire top 10 were all honestly just as good as each other. My man Sam Lawler pick one on potential.
Yeah, now your man. He is your man. You came in before you even made your debut on the Lair. I think you called him out last year.
Yep.
As the one to watch in the draft. Are you going to pick him?
Of course, if he's playing round one, I'm picking him. Interested to see, because he's a bigger build than some of the other rookies alongside him. Just interested to see how Richmond manage him in the pre-season. I know there's a little bit of there's a little bit of concern just around how his body will hold up in the preparation.
Bear exclusive?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know where I heard that from.
We better leave it there.
But yeah, if he's good to go round one, I'll be picking him. Bit upset he's mid only though.
Yeah, did think he was going to get mid-forward status, but the folks have decided at Champion Data that he is mid-only to start the season, and also, obviously coming in at the hefty price of 200 plus K. Notorious, though, a big fan, of course.
Yes, but I think this is the season for guns and rookies, just the top 10, all those sheepies, they're all future stars, hopefully.
Yeah, I do like, we've spoken about it, guns and rookies does seem the way to go and the big dogs there, but I do have some medium dogs. There's plenty of mid-price value in SuperCoach this year. As I was picking it the first time, December 18, when Team Picker did open, ran out of money. Went too hard, had to scale back on a few key names, but in defence, at this point, no Harry Sheasel, no Luke Ryan. No real reason, not against them, just looking to save a little bit of cash. And a guy who finished the year in my team and on a heater, thanks to some Dossie advice, have to give this one to Dossie. Jack Sinclair.
Jack Sinclair's in there.
At the moment. Just a little bit cheaper, given he started the year a bit slower, but massive run to finish the year with the top scoring defender, I think. Close to in the second half of the year. He's in at D2. Can't afford much else in terms of premiums at 600k, 550k back there. So Bear will know this one. Dossie will know this one. D3 might be a little bit early. Matty Roberts.
Oh, yeah.
From
Matty
the
Roberts.
Swans. Now, we did have a look at the numbers on Code Sports during the week. The fast finishes to 2024. Bear, not sure if you saw it. It looked at the percentage change of players, the highest percentage change of players, first 18 rounds and the final 6 rounds of the year. Matty Roberts plus 70%, average 113 in the final 6 rounds of 2024. We know he came back into the side, settled into that role very well. 434k, underpriced.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how many people remember the finish to last year versus the average that he starts at. I think it's approximately 80 average. So, it could be considered an awkward price if you don't think he's going to continue that form of late last year. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see how many people believe that that's going to continue. And I know we're obviously strong believers in Matty Roberts.
There's a few, and he's at 434k. There's a few players in that range in other spots in the team, my early thinking, and they could shuffle potentially if we don't see enough, or I have second thoughts about that mid-price value, then it might go up to make one a gun, make one a rookie. So plenty to play around with there. But at this point, I like it. D4. Haven't heard much about this guy. Kitty Coleman, though, 269k. We know he missed last year with an ACL. 2023 grand final at 100 SuperCoach points in the first half. Was good value, I think about 380 around about the start last year. Wasn't to be. He's all up and going for round one. 269k, absolute bargain, Bear.
He was this time last year, he was a lock in all of our teams all the way up until it was opening round. He did that ACL, wasn't it? So it didn't actually affect our teams. But yeah, I think it's going to be deja vu. He'll be there lock him in. Can I just jump
Oh,
back to Sinclair, Jack Sinclair?
Mhm.
Was it your V1.0 team? You copped some slack on socials
Little bit of
for Wanganeen Millera over Sinclair?
I did cop a little bit of slack for that, yes, but that was purely due to price at the current structure. But yeah, I think also just a little bit of age bias as well. Sinclair getting a little bit, but Wanganeen Miller, I honestly don't know what to do with the 2 premium slots in defence at the moment. Really, that was probably the biggest place I struggled. But we'll continue with Fant's squad. But I think building out the team, that's definitely the place I struggled the most. If you're not going, both Flanders and Sheasel, I just like, where do you go? And Sinclair's probably the third favourite, I'd imagine there. Maybe even a Houston, because I think his suspension will be over after opening round, I believe. So that'll be an interesting one if people back him in as well.
Now, I think a popular D4 in 2024 might be Toby Travalia from the Saints. Big engine, big tank. We know Ross played Darcy Wilson, threw him in straight away last year, backed him in to run up and down the ground, and we think maybe Travalia might do that for the Saints in his first year. 172 though, just can't fit that in. I'm probably not going to pick him ahead of those similar priced rookies in the midfield. I think I'm going to back in the likes of Smith, the likes of Draper. There's a few more in there to come as well. I think there's enough there at the bottom end of the rookie price, in the rookie price pool, in defence. We spoke about him on the price reveal show. We'll feature in the rookie Bible as well, which is out now. From the Bombers, Saad El Houli is locked in. You think he starts in that side? There's a good chance to start in that side, all going well over summer. Was up with Andy McGrath in the recent running. We saw Sid Draper dominate the running. We said before, Saad El Houli as well, impressing in that regard at Essendon training. Can he play him on field? I've got him in at D5 at the moment.
I almost think it's a waste not to have him on field, given what we've heard out of Essendon, given how well he was playing in the VFL after coming back from injury late last year. So, yeah, I think even though he's 119k, I think he should be on field for most.
Yep. Another one who could, I'm hoping we can play on field, mature age. We love mature ages that are picked up. The Swans don't just draft anyone. They don't draft a lot of project players, especially when they're a mature age like this. Riley Bice from the VFL, 113k. Again, I think he could be the one where you're probably not picking him on a bench. Take advantage of that. Pick him on the field. If new coach Dean Cox does start with him, I think there could be some real money to be made and probably some good scoring, I guess, given the role he plays there in defence.
I just can't wait to walk out of this. I mean, throwing names and all the research at me. I can't wait to walk out of this Lair and have the team looking exactly like the both of you. So thanks, guys. Thanks for inviting me.
Dossie copies me, Bear, so you wouldn't be the first. On the bench, very early, obviously, but one who I don't mind, he could very well change, but Charlie Edwards from the Crows, second year player out there, was drafted a couple of years ago after playing defence, then moved into the midfield in the Coates League over there, the final 6 games, and dominated as a tall midfielder. The Crows picked him up. He impressed at sample level last year, and our other man, 5 names, Simeon Kingsley Thomas Wilson, has been down at training at West Lakes and all over the Adelaide so far this summer, and said Charlie Edwards is doing some good things. So I've put him on the bench for now. Fits into the structure a little bit and the whole saving money situation. One who definitely could change to finish off on the bench in defence, Zach Reid from the Bombers. We've been burnt before. Can't stay on the park. We wanted him in last year. Got injured. Just going to pick him and hope. 119k. Dossie?
Solid. It's a solid backline. It's quite, you've gone definitely a couple of big dogs up top and then a little bit of mid-price and then you're seriously going cheap. So it'll be interesting to see, we're going to need some news from Kitty Coleman. Let's just recap. Sam Flanders, Jack Sinclair, Matt Roberts, Kitty Coleman, Saad El Houli, Riley Bice, Charlie Edwards and Zach Reid.
That is correct. Yep.
All right. Let's move on to the mids, Vance.
Yeah, the big dogs at the top, as we mentioned before, Marcus Bontempelli, Zach Butters M1 and M2. Zach Butters 120 points per game last year. I think he's got a little bit more in him than that, which would be a big year. Bont 126, can't see that changing. Pick him, doesn't matter about the price. You've got him there, you're not playing, as we know in SuperCoach, or if you are just joining us for the first time, we're not picking these players at the top end for their money, not trying to make money off them. If Bont drops 50k at one point, but he still finished the year with 120 point average, which we probably think he's going to be a 6-point drop on last year. Still got the points. Don't worry about that money as such or making it the top end. Of course, the cheaper premiums, there are value premiums where you can make money on and take with, but don't worry about those two. Just lock them in. I've had to scroll down a bit further. Nick Dacos, like at Zach Merritt, Kalis Wrong. Nothing wrong with these guys, but I have to pick my man. He signed a 6-year contract extension. He's now the longest contracted player in the AFL. Haydn Young, 546k, average 101 points per game last year. I think when he really gets going, locked into that midfield role, gets him more. He's locked in. I'm not saying he's not locked in, but has another year, another summer training with the midfield group. I think he can push 110. So I've got him in.
Fife out.
Gone, long gone. M3 is Haydn Young. Now, another one of my boys, George Wardlaw, who you know I really like, and I do still want to pick him. And this spot might change, but can you pick two at the same price in the 450k, 460, 70k bracket? I'm not sure, so I've gone with Clayton Oliver, 451k at Notorious. Is he going to be okay this year?
Yep.
There it is.
Take it to the bank. He'll be back. Him and Petrarca, both back.
Ooh.
Did you hear? Well, you wouldn't have been. You're probably not listening yet there, Bear. We know you're not a avid listener of the podcast. Dossie claimed Clayton Oliver last week. Lock.
There you go.
My biggest lock.
Biggest lock?
Biggest.
I like that. I
Didn't have him in my first draft, though.
That's all right. B 1.0. That's all right.
So Wardlaw, definitely in this thinking around in that spot, but I do like Clary. I do kind of agree with Dos. Hate to say it sometimes at Notorious, but he does get a few right. So slotting in after that M5, because I need to drop down some cash, James Peatling. Setting the track alight over summer. If we see him in the midfield in their pre-season games, 350k, priced at 65, an average of 65, where he puts at least 20 on that as a midfielder at the Crows. And that's probably enough. At that price, he doesn't need to become a keeper.
I feel like pre-season you're only usually hearing positive things, but Peatling at the Crows is just taking it to another level with what we're hearing on the track from him. So,
do you like the bucket hat, Bear?
I will like the bucket hat one day.
Ooh, one day.
I'm not a hat man though.
Ooh, okay.
When the hairline starts receding badly, then I'll get around it.
Going for
got a few years.
Yeah, going for a haircut after this, aren't you? A bit of Dossie inspired.
Yeah,
haircut.
let's let it be noted that I'm going to get a filthy mullet, a la Dossie, but he's pushed the podcast ahead of my haircut.
Didn't want to be out mulleted.
Yeah, it was intentional. It was certainly intentional.
Heartbreaking. I'll have to share a pic later.
Yep.
But Peatling's time on ground last year, like I think that's the thing that's just, obvious upside for him, regardless of how much mid-time he gets. He's going to play more time on ground. He's not going to be the sub. He's not going to be used in a minimal role like he was at G-Dubs.
Yep. M6, mentioned for Jagger Smith. This is where the rookies start. There are a few options. Levi Ashcross, Harvey Langford, Josh Smiley as well. But the one I've locked in after Jagger Smith, before Sid Draper at M7, Ed Allen from the Pies, 194k. Second year down there at the Magpies, second or third. Nick Dacos, an interview with Harold Tons and Glenn McFarlane a couple of weeks ago. Nick Dacos was raised Ed Allen's name, potential superstar, I think, or his words, or potential star, when asked about who might break out in 2025 down at the Pies.
Serious difference between star and superstar there, fans. You're going to have to get that clarified on that quote.
Can be half a star, 194k Ed Allen. Sid Draper, the Lair zone at M8 to finish off. We'll quickly run through the bench in the midfield. Can't afford a lot of money on the bench there, but that's where I might use flex to make sure I've got those terpene guys that are needed. Bo Allen, Dossie's man, another
yes.
Allen comes in.
I was wondering where he was. Defender, he's got defence eligibility, so that's a nice little bit of swing there.
Yep. Now the other swing I like on the bench there, forward mid, Neil Erasmus from the Dockers at 119k.
I was wondering why you had the Dockers Guernsey in the studio today there, fans.
Bit of a flavour. Now, we don't always trust the word of 5 names, but he has been saying good things about Christian Moraes down at the Power. They do like him, been featuring a bit more than the other draftees. So I'm locking him in early on the bench, 113k as a mid only.
Yeah, that's a stacked midfield. I do like the look of this quite a bit more than your defensive line's pretty solid too, but the midfield is just loaded. Bont, Butters, Young, Oliver Peatling, Jagger Smith, Draper, Ed Allen, the superstar as well there. Followed by, the bench is a really solid one as well. I really like Neil Erasmus as a pick. Won the Waffle best and fairest, best player, in the grand final, and hopefully he gets his opportunity this year. But it's a loaded mid.
Yep.
Vance.
That's why we like it. The ruck at R3, Gorn and Cherry on the field. Just an ode to our man at the moment. Throw the position, Thomas Sims from the Tigers. Forward ruck, 113k. He's locked in on the bench.
I really thought you were going to say Thomas de Koning there.
No, Thomas Sims. Thomas Simsy. The forward line.
Still with the flex.
Not too many surprises here in the forward line. Horn Francis, McRae, F1 and F2. Bailey Smith coming in at his new home down at the Cats at F3 at this stage. 389k. Too much value to pass up for mine. There is a lot of value down there. Jamara, who I've talked about a lot, did talk up. I haven't picked him in my first team.
You said he was a lock.
Wasn't he a lock?
He said he was a lock.
I did. I just can't quite fit him in just yet.
Give it time.
Doesn't mean I won't pick him, but I have dropped down. This is where, if this doesn't work out, the Mateus Filippo.
Yep.
313k forward mid. Can I pick Filippo, Smith and Jamara? Maybe not. So that's where I've settled at the moment. Bailey Smith and Mateus Filippo, because an absolute no-brainer and a lock who should be in every team. Caleb Daniel, 269k. North Melbourne.
Yep.
Forward mid. Locked in there for me at F5.
Yeah, the forward line is going to be very vanilla in many teams this year. I mean, you've got 4 guys there. You could arguably say a lock if they do, return the value we expect in McRae, Basilenka, Filippo, and Caleb Daniel. I think, there will be some interesting forward lines out there, but I feel like the mainstays, these guys are going to be some of the most owned players we're going to see this year. Caleb Daniel the other day, Jai Simpkin spoke about his presence at training to North Melbourne, the North Melbourne media, their team there. And if you just go look at that, he's just glowing about his presence at training, his leadership, how he was best. He reckons he was best on the other day in a bit of match sim. So, look, Caleb Daniel is one of the biggest locks this year.
Yep, old Vanilla Phantom in the forward line there a little bit. Dossie, a little smile from at Bear Torres. Scrolling down after that, looking to, get a cheaper rookie on the field. I can't scroll past one Tom Lynch, though, at 183k at this point of the year. If he's playing in round 1, or opening round, whenever they're playing, Tom Lynch, have to pick him, surely. At that price. Kicks a couple of bags, makes some cash, does his job as a cash cow. What do you think? I'm picking him F6.
What do you reckon, Bear? It depends to me.
I sense some...
I don't think I'm agreeing with Fance here.
Yeah, that's 180, that's 70k. If you say, okay, it is dependent on getting a rookie playing, but say Erasmus does play, or even, so if you're getting Erasmus to play, then I think I'd be happy going with that. But if you look at like another one of our star sort of rookies from this crop, like an Isaac Kako from Essendon, he's won close to 150k. So paying an extra 30 for an established veteran that we know can do it and, can put up some decent SuperCoach scores. Like you said, if he just kicks a bag, it's going to be tough to get it down forward for Richmond, but surely he can get enough just to make you a bit of cash. Yeah, it's all to do with the body if he's healthy.
Yep.
I'm going to be looking at him strongly for sure.
Not for you, Bear?
I just don't think it's 2019 anymore, fans.
Ooh.
We'll see. But
Lawler time.
I'm going to let you mention our boy, if you want. Forward mid, GWS Giants.
Ooh.
Yes, Ollie Hannaford.
Yep.
Our boy from G-Dubs. A rebel,
of course.
Bears man. But look, if you get any of these cheaper rookies, but look, Tom Lynch, look at his career history in SuperCoach, and for what you're paying for just basically a rookie, cheaper than a Sid Draper, cheaper than a Jagger Smith. Tom Lynch has certainly done it before as a forward, so I wouldn't be opposed to paying up.
Yep.
Carlton, Port Adelaide, St Kilda, Brisbane, first 4 for Richmond. I don't think they're playing opening round. That Richmond-Carlton game comes up first.
Yep.
So
You just got to get the cash before he gets injured.
Yeah.
That's really the problem.
But some good names. You said Keiko, Jack Martin as well at the Cats, Luke Pedler. Crow battled some injuries last year. Joe Berry at the Power doing some good things down there. Probably starts, or a good chance to start in their side as a small forward. But again, what numbers does he put up? You mentioned Hannaford at 127. Elijah Hewitt, though, gets the first bench spot for me, forward mid 122k. A young Eagle who Dossie has talked up, so I backed Dossie in. He was obviously a very highly rated junior, hasn't quite put it together yet, battled a few issues with his body.
Yep.
But we're backing him in, Dossie.
Absolutely backing him in. He's another one that, if healthy, wouldn't be opposed to just starting him on field. Might even get some midfield rotation straight off the bat in there for the Eagles. So one to closely monitor and potentially, save a bit of cash on field if needed.
Fortunately, cannot find anyone I like just yet. The 99k, the new 99k bracket in SuperCoach, but 113k mature age forward from Bears mob. Aiden Johnson gets the final spot on the bench. All going well. He slots in there as a bigger body who can play straight away, help out the Ds.
I think Melbourne Socials did put up a video, unfortunately, of him getting out-muscled the other day. But, mature age boy.
On there for now.
Can play. I don't mind that.
Now, you got about 211k left in the bank for the new flex position.
Here we go.
Extra player on the field in 2025 SuperCoach.
Yep.
Who have you got?
Well, I'm not 100% sure the best strategy to go with yet. We've spoken about, do you use it to add to your cash gen? Do you pick an extra ruckman who we know we only get to pick 2, but there's a lot of guys who score well consistently? At the moment, I am going with Levi Ashcroft as for a bit more cash gen. Another one of those top end rookies from the draft who I think can score well and make some early cash that I can't fit in the midfield, given I've gone a little bit deeper with a Peatling. So Levi Ashcroft hold the flex spot early in my very early team picker team, and that is it. I'm pretty happy with it. Plenty will, I think, change over summer, but some good names in there. Don't mind the structure as it is. My 2 mid-price heavy. I always say that I want to stay away from it, but can't help myself sometimes, especially this stage of the year when it's tempting to have a bit of fun.
Any names stand out to you, Bear, missing from this squad? I'll mention a couple that
Cool.
people may ask about on the socials. You don't have any. You've gone some of the big dogs, no doubt about that. Plenty of the big dogs. No Sheasel, no Dacos in there. Maybe 2 of the big names people are interested in starting this year.
I mentioned that's just me getting excited for Melbourne 2025, but I mentioned Petrarca. I'm excited to see how he goes back.
Do we need to see how he goes back first?
That's probably the thing. Time away, but just like looking at him pre-season, back smiling as well, which is good to see. No, I like it, fans. I will note that TDK is 547k. Cherry 645, Gorn 668.
TDK would give me
that's a lot of money.
More money to play around with. Would help me out. Maybe another midfield premium go Peatling up, but I would have to just be siding with Dossie.
I'm
not sure I can do that.
I'll probably be siding with. Actually, Are you revealing your R1, R2? Or like is TDK there? Or
Yeah, I think he is at the moment.
a
Yes.
little contract extension from last year?
I have gone Sherry as well, but yeah, Gorn to me, that's so much money to spend if you're going Gorn, Bont, Butters, Cherry and Flanders. It's just so much cash on field. Like it is pure guns and rookies, and we think maybe that is a good strategy with flex. You're going to drop off one of your worst scores every week as well, so the top end is going to be important, especially through the buy rounds. We kind of saw that as well with best 18. We found that the top end big dogs are, they're the ones that are going to get it done and get you up the rankings. Another player sort of out of the mix though, if you wouldn't mind commenting on this one, he would be in, I'd say, most teams probably to start the year. You didn't have Will Ashcroft in there.
Yes, I did he was in the conversation when I was trying to work it out in my head. Clayton Oliver, George Wardlaw and Will Ashcroft. At the moment I've picked one. I've picked Clary. Couldn't pick all three. But probably will go back to a 2 if I find some cash that can go from peatling up. Maybe I do downgrade in the ruck. But it's just can't fit the 3 in that price range. Maybe if another cheaper rookie pops up and we downgrade an Ed Allen, downgrade a Levi Ashcroft and pick the cheaper rookies that when cash cow might pop over the preseason, gives me more money to play around with another mid-pricer in Ashcroft or Wardlaw.
So was Finn O'Sullivan in your team? Sorry,
No.
I don't think so. So that my only concern with Levi Ashcroft, he is a known scorer, but just I'm interested to see his role at Brisbane. There's a lot of good midfielders there, whether that hinders him a little bit. And I guess that's probably the same thinking for me with someone who's not in your team, Finn O'Sullivan at North Melbourne. Jury's out for Levi Ashcroft for me and also Finn O'Sullivan. But
I know what you mean. I think he probably plays more half forward, high half forward, maybe in the odd stint in there in the midfield, depending who's going. So he's not going to start straight in there like a Jagger Smith will or a Sid Draper for their respective midfields. But I think Levi Ashcroft is good enough to win enough of the footy, be involved in enough of those scoring chains, playing a high half forward role, that he can still average 75 plus. I don't think we're not going to back him in to average 90 or 95 like we have done with the top end midfielders of the previous draft.
Now we'll peel the curtain back just a little bit on the Fans team review here. Made it about 5 minutes before the episode. Saw him working on the desk. One other player you may have missed in your rush to come to the studio here, Fans. Callum Mills.
I need to wait and see, I think. Didn't miss him. I don't miss anyone, Dossie. Not in the team yet.
In the $300,000 bracket.
He is my man. I've been on him ahead of time. He's my man, Callum Mills.
Just not seeing enough from the great man.
Just need to wait and see. Good price.
It's got every other Sydney defender in there.
Exactly. How many Sydney defenders can you get?
And one more final in the cheapie bracket. Clearly missed this one.
Oh, no.
Rory Atkins.
Now.
233.
You haven't hit the soundboard in a while. Can I get a pew-pew?
Yeah, the pew-pew. Get our first pew-pew for the year. Where is it?
You're a bit rusty, Doss.
No, a bit rusty.
Rory Atkins, though.
Get there, Dossie.
Here we go.
Impressing in the running, Rory Atkins there, and up facing the media as well, facing the music. Maybe he might feature more than we all thought for the Power.
I actually had a Crows friend of mine, Crows fan.
Spare exclusive?
Message. No. Just group chat.
Ooh.
Messaged me saying he actually thinks Rory Atkins might play. Couldn't believe it.
He said in an interview recently, more than what I'm keen to contribute this year and beyond.
Ooh.
And beyond.
Breakout year.
There's a couple of years to go on old Rory Atkins.
I'll consider that one, does he?
Light year Atkins. I like it.
Houston replacement.
Yep. Well, we can kick. They need that. Good kicking is good, Supercoach.
What's Kane Farrell at?
Ooh, too much.
445.
It's bad. Well, I think that's fantastic for your first team reveal there, fans. Hopefully people enjoyed, be able to copy that one if you did listen on the audio.
Yeah, that's great.
Notorious has got it.
I can see him locking it in.
We've got a bit of you can check it out on YouTube if you did just listen to this one and you want to see more of the visual aspect. Now, if you do want to get onto Team Picker, fans, what do we do?
If you're a SuperCoach Plus subscriber, sign in as you would through the app. on a desktop, go to your team from last year. You'll see a nice shiny gold button at the top of your team, just above the defender bench. 2025 Team Picker. I'll open that up for Bear for a very nice Christmas present if you haven't already. We have. Thousands of super coaches out there are doing so, but if you haven't, enjoy it over what hopefully is a nice break.
Before we go, you want to chuck in who your boy is? 2025? Anyone?
How many boys?
Any quick claims? You got Ollie Hanford. I'll claim Lawler and Godstu.
Got a few, yeah. I had a few in my team. I don't have my team up at the moment. So
I really like Moreira's pick, by the way.
I honestly think everyone's. I see Kitty Coleman. I'm probably going to pick if he's healthy. I'll pick him. Someone exactly in that price bracket. I have just the gut feel. Ari Schoenmaker.
Oh, of course, big
breakout. I've already mentioned. I've been sort of talking up a bit of Dan Curtin as well. Cutlass sort of guys that I don't think many people get around. I have seen Ari Schoenmaker in a couple of screenshots out there. You can now screenshot your team as well, fans. If you want to maybe show how to do that. Real quick, there is a button at the top right that you can now screen share your team. Easy to pop on the socials, on desktop and on mobile. And I think that's all we got to say though. There, I'll think of a proper list soon enough. Bear.
Keen, very keen.
It's a long list. So it's like Santa's list.
We'll have to
Santa's
claim
nice and naughty list. He's got about 35 boys.
Podcast, I reckon. Coming in.
Solo podcast. Get on there, start sharing your teams with us and the rest of the SuperCoach community. Enjoy the Team Picker. Enjoy the Christmas and New Year period with obviously your family and friends, but obviously also more so by yourself on the Team Picker, picking your SuperCoach team.
Priorities.
And we'll be back in the new year, Dossie.
We'll be back. See you soon.